Yesterday was a big day to be a Star Wars fan as we got the official release of the third and final trailer of The Rise of Skywalker by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, looking at all the reactions, it really seems that the reactions of The Rise of Skywalker final trailer is a bit mixed. You know, some people found it to be quite underwhelming, others found it to be quite very exciting, that actually wants to make them go ahead and see this movie. I will admit that there are points in the final trailer that are quite underwhelming here and there, but my favorite parts have all to do with Rey, Kylo, the Palpatine dialogue, and everything in between. So today we will be going over new details that you didn't know about The Rise of Skywalker's final trailer that is actually going to be very interesting because it kind of makes you look at the footage in a different light, and it also makes you understand certain aspects of the movie. Now, the first thing that I do want to go over is in the very beginning of the trailer that we got just yesterday, is that theme that you do hear when Rey is running through the jungle world, which is actually said to either be the forest moon of Endor and or the brand new jungle world. There's actually two worlds that are going to resemble each other in this movie. So the theme that you hear that plays in the very beginning is a theme that is described to hold clues to Rey's lineage, and was a theme that was actually not written by John Williams, and is actually from another third-party composer called @GetBlake on Twitter. So go ahead and check him out, because that theme in and on itself has little clues embedded within there that actually brings us, of course, to the official answer of Rey's lineage. And we talked about, you know, all the different leaks related to Rey's lineage before in the past, if you guys want to go ahead and check that out. Now, the thing about the very beginning is that we do know that, of course, we have Rey on the jungle world, training through the ways of the Force, using her lightsaber, using that helmet as a way to train, just as Luke did on the Millennium Falcon. But the other piece that I think a lot of fans are going to find to be very intriguing as well is that, of course, all the shots of the Death Star wreckage scenes that took a total of 3 weeks to film between Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver, and that JJ used Prequel Trilogy choreography for the battle, where both Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley trained in water that was as low as 50 degrees. So that's exactly why, you know, Kylo Ren kind of looks very cold in the shot, Adam Driver I should say, is because they actually dunked water on them that was as low as 50 degrees or less. And this was all done on set over at Pinewood Studios in the UK many months ago that took a total of 3 weeks to film. So the fact that they are throwing a lot of Prequel Trilogy choreography into the Death Star 2 battle scenes is really inspiring, because we do know that they are throwing in a lot of callbacks to the Anakin and ObiWan Kenobi Mustafar duel, into the Rey and Kylo duel, on, of course, you know, the world of Endor where the Death Star 2 wreckage resides. And that to me is a very, you know, I guess you could say a very inspirational thing by JJ, the fact that he is able to do that, and the fact that he's paying so much attention to the Prequel Trilogy era, and kind of throwing in those little undertones and those little parallels, if you will. The other piece I want to tap into is the ice world. A lot of people are talking about this ice world that's actually called Montreux Base, was actually one of the original designs for Cloud City for The Empire Strikes Back, in case you guys did not know in the early drafts, and that JJ wanted to use that design for the film The Rise of Skywalker. So that icy world that you see that appears to be floating in either space or in the sky, that is actually an original design for Cloud City that is now being used for Episode 9. So you can see how JJ is going into all the original drafts of, you know, The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, etc. And one would argue that, you know, that kind of shows perhaps, you know, lack of originality by JJ. I can understand people's points of view about that, but at the same exact time, it's also kind of salvaging older concepts that never got the chance to make it to the original trilogy that are now surfacing in, of course, The Rise of Skywalker. I want to move on to Palpatine, because Palpatine really is the highlight of this movie, and of course we did get to hear him in the teaser trailer, and of course we actually got to hear him also in this final trailer as well, where Palpatine's throne on set weighed around 400 pounds on set, mostly made of hard foam with unique textures added on top of it, that was all done by laser. So the fact that they were creating this new throne for Palpatine, the fact that it weighs around 400 pounds, only tells you how much detail went into this new throne and how high it really is. It's said to be above 10 feet high, which really does speak volumes, the fact that they are trying to do something incredible. In fact, we actually went over this yesterday, but Palpatine's throne in The Rise of Skywalker is actually based off of an original sketch by Ralph McQuarrie for Palpatine's original throne in Return of the Jedi, so that's another thing to keep a look open for. The other piece that I do want to go over that I think is really going to interest a lot of people here is that some props of Palpatine's old throne room seen in the footage of the trailer were actually used from Episode 6 Return of the Jedi for Episode 9. So some of the props that you do see in the original throne room, we're talking about the one that we all know and love in Return of the Jedi, that is now back in Episode 9, where it's all rusted and wrecked. Parts of that were actually used from Return of the Jedi for The Rise of Skywalker. And the thing that I like so much about that is that this is, of course, a way for J.J. Abrams in order to give the fans something from the original trilogy, quite literally, and throwing it into Episode 9. And that's exactly what J.J. wants to do with The Rise of Skywalker. He wants to treat this as the culmination of the entire saga that started back in 1977. Now, without a doubt, I totally understand that there are concerns about this movie, how there's a lot of similarities, how you see Palpatine's throne room and how it's very much like Return of the Jedi, or, how you have all these different returns of specific characters like Palpatine, where, JJ couldn't just hold on to a brand new villain. I, however, like that Palpatine's back. I know that some people out there have an issue with that, which is fine. But it's all a matter of exactly how he comes back to life. And we actually went over that in the couple of leaks, I guess you could say like about a week or two ago. I'm not going to tap into it in this video, but we actually went over that, and it seems like it created mixed reactions on whether or not people are either going to love it or hate it. I think that's one of the big concerns, right, is to see exactly how the fans are going to really react to Palpatine's explanation of his survival after the second Death Star explosion, right? It makes you wonder, how could he have really survived that? Well, we actually went over that a couple of days ago. I'm sure that some of you guys out there know what we talked about. I'm not going to talk about it in this video, though. Another piece that I just want to go over that really intrigued me, and this is apart from all the other things, is that, of course, we do know that this movie is, of course, going to really include the new super weapons called the Annihilators that are on board of every single Star Destroyer a part of Palpatine's new Sith Empire. In fact, the majority of the Star Destroyers that you do see in The Rise of Skywalker's final trailer all take place on a world called Exegol, alright? So Exegol is going to be Palpatine's new world, where all of the backup plans of the old Empire are actually being used to restore his new Sith Empire. So all those Star Destroyers that you do see, the old Imperial ones, they're actually a part of a organization, if you will, by Palpatine called the New Sith Empire. Kind of throwing us back to, of course, Legends, where Palpatine, had plans to do that, but it never really carried out. So, with that being said, you can really see that Disney and Lucasfilm, they're trying to really make this a very action-packed film. I think that the trailer really speaks for itself, that there's going to be a lot of action in this movie. But I will admit, and I will say this right now, that there are times in this trailer where I felt underwhelmed. I really will say that. I think most of it had to do with the Resistance-oriented stuff. I feel like that the shot of the Falcon and all the other ships in space, that was excellent. That got my blood rushing. But everything else, I gotta say with the Resistance, I was sort of so-so on. I was more geared to the second Death Star wreckage content, as well as, the shots of Rey, Kylo, the Darth Vader melted helmet, the podium getting shattered between Rey and Kylo. Either they're working together to destroy the podium, or they're fighting against each other. It seems it could be either case, really. So, this trailer, I will say that there is a lot of mixed reactions. There are a lot of mixed reactions about this trailer. That's a given, right? There's people that are saying that, it didn't really reach them too much, or it didn't really make them feel something, if you will. And then there's others who say the complete opposite. So it really is a mixed, bag here for The Rise of Skywalker's official trailer, between all the fans around the world. We'll have to wait and see what the TV spots have to offer. To be honest with you guys, I think it all has to just do with the choice of music here and there, and the choice of shots with that music. and the dialogue that comes in between. Like I say, I think that there are a lot of parts in this trailer that are excellent, but there's just some shots here and there that are quite underwhelming. So, anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.